Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this regular council meeting of Tuesday, November the 1st, 2022 to order. First up on the agenda is adoption of this evening's agenda, and please, council, be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. To delete item 8.1 for this inaugural meeting of council. As amended, Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette. Any further additions or deletions? All in favor? It's carried. Item 3.1, adoption of the minutes of the October 11th, 2022 regular meeting of council. Councillor McLean, Councillor G. Any errors or omissions arising? All in favor? It's carried. We have some outgoing comments under 4.1. I'll give any members of council for this inaugural meeting an opportunity to have some closing comments, and after those final comments we will take a seat in the front row, and as we dissolve the previous council, and administration will take it from there. Does anybody have any comments they'd like to share this evening? I won't pick on you. Councillor McLean.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone who supported me as we served you for the last 4 years. From the members of council who had been around before, who coached us, and staff who supported us and shepherded us along, to committee work, people who volunteered for committees and supported council, brought us forward. It has been a privilege. And I know that you're in good hands moving forward as a municipality. So thank you. I will miss you all.
Thank you, Councillor McLean. Any other volunteers?
No pressure for you. No pressure. Yeah, I thought about writing a big, long, fancy speech and saying everything, and I've never been a very verbose person. So just thanks, everyone. I'm going to miss you guys.
Thank you.
Don't make me cry.
If there are nothing from the incumbents, I will highlight a few things that were monumental for this council, in my view, in my closing remarks. Because ultimately, municipal councils are responsible for the delivery of local services to their community and the actions taken by the municipality. We are legislatively recognized by the BC government as an order of government within our jurisdiction. And we have these responsibilities and are undertaken largely independently with limited oversight from other levels of government. And as such, this council adopted Policy 85, which was their code of conduct, to help guide our behavior and our conduct as we work towards our strategic priorities of 2019 to 2022. Those priorities for this council were communications, community health, fiscal responsibility, land use planning, and development support. We implemented and accepted and adopted an asset management plan, which is an important tool as it helps municipalities maintain, operate, and replace infrastructure in the most effective way so services can continue to be provided to the community. It was daunting to realize that we're sitting on a $54 million infrastructure deficit. It's not that we owe $54 million, but if we were to replace every single pipe in the ground, it would cost $54 million. We are finding that with our most recent attempt at acquiring lift stations that we could probably up that $54 million threefold. Nothing is more exciting during wildfire season and smoky skies, limited visibility, than a landslide that you can't see but can only hear. And with our partners at the Regional District Fraser Fort George, we opened a joint emergency operations center, first time in history. The evacuation alert for approximately 40 properties on the northeast side of Main Street, beginning at William Road and extending beyond Swift Creek Bridge to the end of Main Street in electoral area H. Currently, the monitoring of those tension cracks behind the slide area is ongoing. It was also one of the first times that we were able to test and to really test our Voyant alert system, which is a communication service utilized by the Village of Valemount to keep the public informed of emergency events and ongoing updates instantaneously of those emergency events. We developed a new website, which greatly improved transparency and the ability to find information about our community. The annual reports, statement of financial information, council meeting agendas and minutes, building permits and requirements, community data can all be accessed from home. But you cannot look at a website if you do not have decent connectivity. And that is why we've partnered with the regional districts of East Kootenay, Central Kootenay, Columbia, Shuswap, and Kootenay Boundary for a massive, and as I found out today with the meeting of Minister Bear of Citizen Services, the largest joint application in the province at a whopping $92 million to increase connectivity for our area. Work continued throughout the previous term with the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change strategy to address local air quality issues. Our Clean Air Task Force met with Northern Health, Environment Canada, the Ministry of Environment to research and develop clean air bylaws, dust abatement, anti-idling, burn it smart workshops, and wood stove exchange programs. The village was, these initiatives, focal points of our clean air strategy along with a dedicated 5-year budget. The village was successful in obtaining funding through the wood stove exchange program and committed to, in partnership with the Valemount Community Forest, the highest of all subsidies in all of British Columbia to help people change out old, inefficient wood-burning heating devices that contribute to our poor air quality. Tourism Valemount transitioned from a committee of council to an independent destination management organization, largely because the village was able to raise it up and those members were able to pick up what we had built and take that into an independent organization where they are currently flourishing. On land use planning, council worked with some pretty amazing not-for-profit organizations by waiving DCCs, development cost charges, donation of municipal lands, and investment in long-term infrastructure additions and improvements. 3 multi-person housing projects either received occupancy permits, began construction, or were approved for funding. And these projects will increase our housing stock by an incredible 8.5% for all income levels, including some of the most vulnerable of our residents. Trans Mountain expansion project negotiations remain on the forefront for the benefit of our community. We continue to discuss worker accommodation mitigation, infrastructure improvements, and greenhouse gas emissions. Council continues to work with our municipal corporation, the Valemount Community Forest Limited Partnership, as it endeavors to exceed its mandate of supporting local forestry-based employment and economic diversification, and tenancy continues to grow at the Valemount Industrial Park Limited Partnership, both under the governance of their board of directors and the management of their staff team. None of this work is achievable without an official community plan. And while there have been some amendments made to the 2006 OCP, this council adopted a completely fresh and new plan based over a year of consultation with community members, First Nation, Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, Board of Education, School District 57, Northern Health, and the Agricultural Land Commission. This OCP is the Village of Valemount's vision for the future and the playbook for today. When the next council is considering tough decisions such as priorities for investment and spending or approval of rezoning applications and infrastructure improvements, the OCP can be used to assist in those difficult decisions. For citizens new and old, the OCP displays the village's hopes for the future and priorities for investment, and that's what you as a citizen, we as a council can expect to happen in our neighborhood and village. No doubt, the pandemic added some hiccups to the previous term, and this council will continue the work needed to take our community forward through the endemic stage of COVID-19. We have started and will look forward to further fostering relationships with our partners at Sim First Nation, the province, our MLA Shirley Bond, the Regional District Fraser Fort George, Columbia Basin, and Northern Development Initiative Trusts. Most importantly, and on a personal note, it was the teamwork and camaraderie of this outgoing council that provided the direction for everything mentioned and more. It was done with decorum, cordial debate, compassion, and kindness. Outgoing members of council, thank you for the past 4 years, and thank you for your service to our community.
And now I have the rare privilege of calling for item 5 oath of office, and under 5.1 we can move to administer those. I'd like to call on our mayor-elect, Mr. Owenberg. If I could have you read that out, sir.
I, Owen Torgerson, do solemnly affirm I am qualified to hold the office of mayor for the Village of Valemount, for which I have been acclaimed or elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
I would like to call up Councillor-elect Holly Blanchette.
15 people or something.
You've heard the oath once, would you like to?
Just say ditto. I, Holly Blanchette, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold office of councillor for the Village of Valemount, to which I have been elected, acclaimed. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office, and I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform my duties, the duties of my office, in accordance with the law. Thank you.
And I would like to call up Councillor-elect Pete Pearson.
This is where I get the
Really put the pressure on.
If I each read that out loud, sir.
All right. Starting at Village of Valemount.
That's right, the small print there, file number.
I, Pete Pearson, do solemnly affirm that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the Village of Valemount, to which I have been elected, acclaimed. I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office. I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter. I will carry out my duties with integrity. I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I will be respectful of others. I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. If I can do that big flourish. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, members of council. Where are we?
Item 6, your worship.
Thank you very much. Opening remarks, no, yes, 6.1. I will present gifts to the outgoing members of council, starting with Councillor Sherry G. Former Councillor Sherry G. For me. Would you please come up? Sherry, thank you so much for your dedication to community. Something for Seth.
Thank you.
Former Councillor Don McLean. Thank you, Donnie, so much for dedication to community.
Thank you. That is beautiful. Thank you.
Council have under 6.2 any opening remarks? Councillor Blanchette.
So although this start to the next term has been very different, the goals and the aims are the same. We're going to work hard, we're going to do our best for the community and for the Robson Valley. The mayor has highlighted some of the successes, and over the next 4 years, we will be adding to that list. I want to thank outgoing councilors for a wonderful 4-year term, and know that you will be missed at this table. However, I know I will see you on committees, both of you, and I will see you in town. So thank you very much, because it's been a really good 4 years. Thank you. And thank you, guys. We will be working together and continuing all the good work we're doing.
Thank you, Councillor.
You lucky guy.
Councillor Pearson, anything?
Yeah, I'd like to thank both former councilors for the last 4 years. Excuse me. And I think we realize that as we transition through rather interesting waters to form a new council, looking forward together to carrying on with Team Valemount to further success.
Awesome, thank you very much. Councillor? Indeed, history has been made. We have just been sworn in an oath of office. We three are the immediate governing body for the corporation of the Village of Valemount. We were acclaimed, and we have been in constant contact with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs since September 12th to figure out the next steps, because our letter patent dictates we must have 5 members of council. Not 3, not 7, 5. Section 103B of the Local Government Act dictates that failing to provide a full body of council, appointments must be made. And those appointed, in this case, must reside within the boundaries of the municipality on the day of appointment. Failure to do so will require intervention of the Minister of Municipal Affairs. History is made. We are the largest municipality in BC to need to do this, and the only municipality ever in BC, as we're aware of, required to do this straight away following a local government election period. And history will be made. Following the closing of the self-nomination period on September 7th, this council will deliberate in a meeting which will be open to the public on November the 18th to decide who will join Team Valemount. Remind anyone sitting on the fence right now on a self-nomination that serving one's community in this capacity of a member of council, in my mind, is one of the most rewarding roles I've ever had the privilege of having with the team that I've had it with. And the privilege of having, and will continue to have. We have the responsibility, council, to enhance the village for residents and attract the next wave of village residents. And I expect we will do this through accountability, good conduct, open representation, and a smidgen of fun. So, council, what say you? Are you ready to continue to make history? Well then, pitter patter, let's get at her. We do have a delegation this evening under 7.1 from the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 266, with the presentation of the first poppy. President G.
Put my glasses on too. Good evening, Mayor Torgerson and Council. My name is Clayton G. I'm the President of Branch 266 Royal Canadian Legion of Valemount. The branch has been proud to serve the veterans and residents of Valemount since 1966. Our mission is to serve veterans, including those currently serving in our armed forces and the RCMP, and their families in order to promote remembrance and to serve our communities and our country. The poppy has been a symbol of remembrance for our battle fallen for over a century. I am honored to present Valemount's Mayor and Council with the first poppy of the year to honor and remember Canada's fallen.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are honored to receive. Sure.
Take those off for that.
We'll see.
Thank you, good sir. Would you please join us for a photo op? Thank you. Thank you again.
Oh, yeah.
Motion, please, delegate, council to receive the delegation. Councilor Blanchette, Councilor Pearson. Discussion on the delegation. Truly blessed to have a Legion to present our first poppy. All in favor? It's carried. Item 8.1 has been deleted as amended by council, so we do have some committee appointments under 9.1 to consider. Particularly to the Regional District Fraser Fort George. Recommendation here that Mayor Torgerson be appointed to the Regional District Fraser Fort George Board of Directors for a one-year term commencing November 16th, 2022, and that Councilor Pearson be appointed as the alternate. Councilor Blanchette, Councilor Pearson, discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 9.2, appointments to the Regional District Community Consultation Committees. Recommendation 1, Councilor Pearson be appointed to the Canoe Valley Recreation Center Community Consultation Committee for a one-year term. Councilor Blanchette, Councilor Pearson, discussion. All in favor? It's carried. And that too, Councilor Blanchette be appointed to the Valemount and District Fire and Rescue Community Consultation Committee for a one-year term. Councilor Pearson, Councilor Blanchette, discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 9.3, appointment to the Vale Mountain Area Recreation Development Association, VARDA. Board of Directors, recommendation here Mayor Torgerson be appointed to the Varda Board of Directors for a one-year term commencing November 16th, 2022. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. Items 10.1, appointment of signing officers. Recommendation, Mayor Torgerson and Councillor Blanchette be appointed as signing officers for the Village of Valemount. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 10.2, appointment of the auditor. KPMG be appointed to the Village of Valemount auditor, as the Village of Valemount auditor for 2023. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Pearson. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 10.3, appointment of the consulting engineer. Recommendation that Urban Assistance be appointed as the Village of Valemount consulting engineer for 2023. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. All in favor? It's carried. 11.1, deputy mayor appointment for November of 2022. Again, going through this. Well, let's get a motion on the floor. Recommendation that Councillor Blanchette be appointed as deputy mayor for November 2022. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette. Discussion. Normally, we'd have an entire calendar laid out for you, but we have 2 empty seats that we need to fill before we can complete that calendar. All in favor? It's carried. Administrative reports, 12.1, Government of Canada 2023 Celebrate Canada program with a recommendation that staff be directed to apply to the Government of Canada 2023 Celebrate Canada program in the amount of $3,500. Councillor Pearson, Councillor Blanchette, discussion. All in favor? It's carried. Item 13, it's time for public comment on items on the approved agenda. Are there any public comments this evening? Second call. Then I'll ask for adjournment. Councillor Pearson. Thank you.